Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I have your very first gameplay and overview straight from the Hornet dev server for a vehicle that was just added to it a few minutes ago. A surprise for this update, and it's got a very big head. That's right, we have the Harrier T10, which will be a Rank 7 strike aircraft for the Great Britain Air Force's tech tree, and of course, 11.3 BR. This is a very interesting vehicle. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this will be GE based or if it will be a pack premium. I would assume it's going to be GE based, though I am not entirely sure. We're just kind of given these as content creators to use, no questions asked, in the dev server, so they don't really tell us whether or not, again, it's a pack premium. Now, that being said, this is a very interesting vehicle because it is a full 1 BR lower than the GR7, which has identical, at least currently, identical performance stats. Now, this might change, especially being that this is the dev server. So many things are up to change beyond even the release of the live server. But if you look here, this has a gigantic cockpit for 2 people. Currently, only 1 pilot is modeled in it. But yeah, you would imagine that this would cause some maybe slightly lower top speeds, but you never know. Otherwise, when it comes to this vehicle, it's pretty interesting because it has an extremely powerful CAS loadout in which you can get yourself some GPU 24s, Mark 13s, and of course GPU 12s. Unfortunately, as of current, there are no GPS guided bombs or TV guided bombs, but still laser guided bombs, especially with that T-old targeting pod, will be fantastic. You also have, of course, your dumb bombs as well, and you have extremely powerful AGM 65Gs, which are IR guided, 65Es, which are laser guided, and 65Ds, which are also IR guided, but they have more of a heat rather than a semi-armor piercing HE shell what the G has. Now, that said, otherwise this can only carry AIM-9Ls, which would largely, I would assume, be the reason why it's a lower BR than the GR7, at least, again, currently, whereas the GR7 has the ability to carry AIM-9Ms and also BOL pods, BOL pods. The T10 just does not have that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how good this is going to end up being. But that being said, let's go ahead, jump into a match or two, test this thing out. Again, this is a total surprise. I was not expecting this. This was just put onto the dev server essentially a few minutes ago. That said, let's get into it. So here we are with the Harrier T10, and as you can see, there's a second pilot in there. Also, the cockpit is fully modeled. Plus, you can even see the pilot back there, the co-pilot, if you will. So that, in my opinion, that's really cool. We are actually very close to the release of this update. Now, the guns on this thing, they, at least as of right now, none of them have tracers, unfortunately. Okay, we have a player right there. I'm just going to go ahead and fire a missile on him. Hopefully he doesn't see, and it looks like he will. Doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and fire on this fella over here. Hopefully we can get that hit. I'm going to turn back around. And we have the hits. Very good. Very fun. Now I'm going to go ahead and fire on this guy again. Hopefully he doesn't see. And then we can get ourselves a second kill. But it looks like he will see. Now that's one of the problems with these missiles in particular. Nice! We have ourselves a second kill. That's one of the problems with these missiles in particular. Or not missiles, but, well actually, yeah, I guess the missiles. They are the AIM-9Ls. Now at 11 point, was this supposed to be 3 BR? They're not all that big of a deal. That's not a big deal. It's not too much of a problem. However, again, they are easily, like very easily flared. So if you have an enemy that actually knows what he's doing, then likely, I need those tracers. But likely they will just be able to flare right away from it. But when it comes to overall performance of this thing, like any Harrier, it feels very nice in terms of low speed acceleration. It really doesn't have amazing maneuverability, but it's not really all that bad. And again, this is a subsonic aircraft, unfortunately, but it is just what it is, right? Like, this is a strike aircraft after all. It's supposed to be going after ground targets, which is where I feel like this is going to be very good. This is probably going to be like the Great Britain analog to the AV-8BNA, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the American version of it. I feel like this is going to be a very similar vehicle to that, right? Like, that's an amazingly good CAS aircraft. And I feel like this is going to be very similar to it, where it's just like a lower BR variant, but with pretty much the same CAS capabilities. Again, I mean, this is even though it's lower in AR, or not AR, RB, like air RB, it's also lower in ground RB, which is interesting. It's 0.3 BR lower. So, despite the fact that it has pretty much the same loadout for ground battles, this is a lower BR than its GR7 brother. So, interesting how that is. Again, I'm kind of getting AV8B and A vibes from this thing, but we'll have to wait and see once this actually comes out to be able to fully test that theory. Now, I said, let's just kind of, I feel like you've already seen pretty much all you need to see when it comes to air battles. I'm just going to really quickly get into a ground, test drive real quick, see how this thing functions, and maybe we can get ourselves, I don't know, some kills against helpless ground targets. That said, let's get into it, but not too bad. 2 kills for 4 missiles spent. Not bad. Also, I guess the cockpit doesn't quite work yet for ejections. Okay, so here we are in test drive. As you can see, this thing has a ridiculous loadout, and we also have the T10 targeting pod. So, with that said, let's just kind of go ahead, start off with a GBU 12 paveway. We're going to go ahead and drop it. Okay, it looks like it's a little screwy right now, but not too big of a deal. Just going to go ahead and target this guy right there, and hope that we can hit him. I'm sure we will. We are close enough. And it went right in and boom, destroyed him. Also, look at that new animation. It actually shows the correct bomb type. That's pretty cool. And then we're going to try it, I guess, on something else. Maybe like this light tank down there. So, let's go ahead and just kind of pre-target. And there we go. It is tracking him. Let's see if we can hit him with it. Let's go move forward real quick. We also have, of course, the HEM65E, D, and G variants. So I'm pretty interested to see how that's going to function. It is still tracking. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Ah, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I feel like this is going to be a really good CAS aircraft. So we're just going to go ahead and switch over to the IR-guided variants of this real quick. So many different things. We have the G variant right there, the D variant right there, and we have the E variant. Probably a little bit too close for that, actually. We have ourselves 2 kills. We're going to go switch over to this frigate over there, and then we can go ahead and track it. Probably should have targeted it, but not a big deal. We are still flying clearly and freely. And there it is. Boom! Right there on the side of it. Beautiful. All we have left now are just dumb weapons, like the 1,000-pound bomb. You know, I'm going to go ahead and drop that on this Harrier. The carrier. See if that... I don't think it does anything. I don't think that these are modeled to be destroyed in ground battles or test drive, unfortunately. Yeah, it didn't do anything to it. But not a big deal. And then, of course, we have our final horsemen of the apocalypse, the Snebs. Let's go ahead and fire on... Oh, my gosh. Did that just, volley fire? I mean, if you guys couldn't tell, this thing is going to be devastatingly powerful when it comes to ground battles. I'm actually really excited for this thing. I mean, again, this is a bit of a surprise vehicle. Not expecting it at all. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Oh yeah, it's firing 2 at a time. Look at that. And let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. But either way, thanks again. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.